Whenever the monks at the temple went to eat, they had to cross over the water pool by stepping on wooden stakes, and they only passed if their robes didn't touch the water. On this day, a new young man arrived at the monastery. Watching the apprentices easily cross the stakes, he thought it looked like a piece of cake. But the moment he jumped onto a stake, he lost his balance and fell into the pool. After climbing out, he didn't care that he was soaking wet and rushed toward the dining hall. But just as he reached the entrance, an old monk stopped him and said, "Those with wet clothes may not enter the dining hall." So the monk quickly removed his clothes and hung them on a stone pillar to dry. After his clothes dried, he put them back on and entered the hall. But by then, all the monks had already finished their meal. He only found a little bit of thin porridge in a basket. Seeing there was still some left in a bucket nearby, he immediately walked over with his bowl. But he had no idea that the porridge in that bucket was reserved for the senior monks. The old monk scolded him harshly, "If you want to fill your belly, you must earn it through your own abilities." Then the old monk gave him a difficult challenge. He had to balance on the wooden stakes while eating his porridge. But the poor young man couldn't stabilize himself at all and lost his balance, falling into the water once again. As punishment, the old monk assigned him to wash all the bowls in the kitchen. The next day, seeing no one was watching, he tried to climb over the wall to sneak into the dining hall, but his trick was quickly caught. The old monk pushed him into the water again. The monks watching him all burst into laughter. This successfully sparked his competitive spirit. He made a silent vow to himself, "I will prove myself to everyone." After everyone had gone to sleep, he found 2 wooden barrels and rolled them on the ground, then jumped onto them to practice his balance. At first, he fell over and over again, but after each failure, he got back up and tried again. Gradually, he learned to jump back and forth while the barrels rolled quickly beneath him and maintain his balance. By the next morning, everyone expected him to fall again, but to everyone's surprise, the boy used only 1 foot to step on the log and performed the highly difficult move of switching legs in midair, easily crossing the pool below. Seeing this, the old Zen master escalated the test. He replaced the thick log with a thin wooden pole. This time, even the senior disciples couldn't cross the pool. The boy confidently gave it a try, but he too fell into the water. So in order to eat, everyone began practicing day and night, but still, no one succeeded. The old monk was very angry seeing this. He came before the boy and said, "Throw this plate hard into the water." The boy did as told, and the plate sank straight to the bottom. The old monk explained, "Just like this plate, the harder you step on the wood, the faster the wood will sink." Then the master threw another plate at an angle, and it skimmed across the water's surface to the opposite shore. The boy instantly grasped the principle. That night, he returned to the lake to practice. Each time he tried, he remembered the master's words, "Your steps must be light. If you fall, start over again." He fell countless times, but each time he got back up and kept going. Finally, after countless attempts, he successfully crossed those slender pieces of wood, and the old monks had been watching all along. Seeing he had mastered this skill, they sent him to the 36th chamber to train. This time, the practice was arm strength. He had to place 2 sharp knives under his armpits, then spread his arms while lifting 2 buckets of water weighing 100 pounds each. This was no easy task because he had to maintain balance the entire time with his arms extended. If his arms dropped even slightly, he would be stabbed by those 2 sharp blades.